got something to say about everything that you do. When you do something that's real to
yeah.
you that they don't align with, artificial love finna call you out, act funny, say you acting funny, say you switching up. They're finna do everything that they can to get you to go back.
Yeah, they're gonna try to just.
You know what I'm saying? Artificial love doesn't come with elevation. It's a place of where you think you're building patience, but you only procrastinate.
Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Yeah. Today I had to disconnect from my low vibrating friends. Yeah. Hey. Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Hey, hey, hey. Tell me what part of receiving love make you hate a man. Let's talk about it. Digging deep, I'm releasing. I was broken in pieces. I had to pick up the pieces. Life had a new meaning. People fake for no reason. You need to tame that demon. I fall back cause I seen it. I ain't about to be the focus on me. I love you, my G, but how you moving just ain't for me. I don't think I'm better, I just know peace. You say I ain't low cause I'm lower than me. You see, to love you, I gotta love me. I don't fake my reality. You hate my vibe, apparently. I be vibing high, what you waiting for? I'm sorry, I cannot be your scapegoat. All I give is love, what you waiting for? I just gave you the game, what you waiting for? Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Today I had to disconnect from my low vibrating friend. Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Tell me what part of receiving love make you hate a man.
Hey, it's Kai. I told my 3D friends when I woke up that we can't kick it. It's all love, but I got a mission. Gotta cut back on toxic emissions. Feel like a nuclear fission. Access with the flow, how mad I'm splitting, spitting. Roaming four corners when I'm in the kitchen. Feeling like I'm Bobby Hemingway. I used to celebrate my madness just like MTV. Ain't have no sense of direction, I had to live. Couldn't play in the flow of life cause I lost my piano keys. Way too disconnected, couldn't tell the wind talk through the breeze. Ain't finna roll up on no pronto. I'd rather spark up Palo Santo. Cleanse the energy where I go. Frankincense and myrrh for my goal. Is it out with the old and in with the new? My lower nature is a part of me too. Gotta watch the vibrations I'm eating, that's food. You recycle the energy they already use.
Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Today I had to disconnect from my low vibrating friend. Hey, spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Hey, yeah. Tell me what part of receiving love make you hate a man.
Peace, family. Big energy. You already know the vibes. Shadow
What
Work
it do?
Sundays, where self-love is therapy. Season 5, episode 2. As you can see, we have a special guest. Again, another one, what I'm saying, for the part 2. So I present and I actually want to introduce Candace Purple Lotus Flower. She is all about the 888 energy, very abundant energy, and we're gonna tap in today. When she comes around, we tap in on relationship.
Hey,
So that's what we're gonna do. So today's episode is Trapped in Love. We told y'all about the artificial love. Now we have to break down how we can actually trap ourselves in love and how other people can try to trap us in love.
I say. And we're gonna start the episode with big gratitude to the family, everybody in the building rocking with us, everybody that comes through every Sunday to check us out, sending you big love and heart chakra energy and gratitude.
I say.
You dig.
I say.
How y'all vibrating, family?
Tap in.
I see somebody said in the chat, family just casually watching the Super Bowl. Yeah, we here. We still here. You know what I'm saying?
For sure,
we still
for sure.
here. Big energy. You feel me? So like Julio said, much gratitude to the family for popping in and showing up, you know, and tapping in. So let's start off with the Heart Chakra Singing Bowl. Before we do anything, because we couldn't get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
I say. Yeah, that was well needed.
Oh yeah,
well needed. And so what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna start this episode off with the record. So me and Kai once again are coming together to give you guys these vibrations, you know, saying in tune with the frequency that they are trying to put on you in a negative agenda. We're actually going to be the balance, you know, through music, through sound frequency. So this song is called Communicate in Peace. And so, yeah, we're just going to speak on that because obviously that's been an agenda that's being pushed musically on us, you know, from the Moneybagg Yo and Glorilla new record back to the Kendrick Lamar record last year, and many other records, you know, but we're going to show the duality in this record of divine feminine and divine masculine coming together and actually being able to communicate in love and becoming one, and that partnership that they're really scared of. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get it.
Jose on the beat.
Hey, calm down, baby. I ain't trying to do all that today.
You know I don't want to argue.
That's what you say. All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even go all in, you know. Just do something.
Not today, baby.
I'd rather show you love
and tell you things I don't mean.
Everybody ties.
Don't be toxic to me.
I don't wanna argue.
Let's communicate in peace,
baby. We already made it, baby. Let's have a conversation. Feel the vibration. You my motivation. To be patient and not anxious, even when you talking crazy. Still my baby, just frustrated. Man, you so amazing. We elevate, no more wait. I say you are the love of my life. You are the spark in my eye. You who I see when I rise. Tell me how you feel inside. We don't transfer trauma, cause love is no problem. I made a promise to love you with honor. You made a promise to me to be honest, and we can do this with no drama.
Baby,
I'd rather show you love
and tell you things I don't mean.
Everybody ties.
Don't be toxic to me.
I don't wanna argue.
Let's communicate in peace,
baby.
I ain't never like to use my words. I was young thinking talking wouldn't work. Telling myself that talking about things that already happened is gonna make it worse. Show me that communication, open me up to relating how your energy serves. Now we be speaking to levity, mixed with some empathy. Now we talking straight through Kai, aka Mother Earth. You got us all love when we speak affirmations from 3 different places. We in 3 different spaceships. We don't have to speak English, speak code like the Masons. And you never be faking. I'ma treat it like we in high school, we be caking. If we argue a poison, we taking. It don't really matter, we ain't chasing. We don't chase no arguments. You talk with fire like an arsonist. Hey, cast spells like a pharmacist. And plant life like a botanist. I can talk to you for hours by being in your energy without saying a word. Speaking these love affirmations. If you do not say a thing, then I'ma gon' say it first.
I'd rather show you love
and tell you things I don't mean.
Everybody ties.
Don't be toxic to me.
I don't wanna argue.
Let's communicate
Man, you know the vibe.
Very smooth vibes.
I love that.
I say,
He said, "Not today, baby."
Right.
man,
That's what's up.
man. Yeah,
I'm
you
telling
know,
you, King got man vibes for days. He got every vibe you
Hold
can
on,
think of. Like,
they talk about bro skin glowing though.
you hear me? Hey, say,
right,
what's going
man.
on, you know.
Listen.
Remember behind the scenes, I kept saying the lighting no matter what I put it on, it's too bright. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh,
My
You
man got
over
that light coming
around.
from him.
man, I
Yeah,
say,
man, as you should.
For
I
sure.
say,
I
man.
show you.
Yeah, so that's the vibes. You know, we setting the frequency of love. You know what I'm saying? You know, we setting the frequency of oneness. You know what I'm saying? Of wholeness. You know what I mean? And we finna get into these infiltrations that have happened on us mentally and emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And so let's get it. So to start it off, let's get into the definition, then the etymology
Sure.
of trapped and of love. So we're gonna start with trapped.
Cool. Definition of trapped is to prevent someone from escaping a place. So to prevent someone from escaping a place. And that's deep.
So that's that could be anything is my point. You know, like you said, to prevent something, you know what I'm saying? So that is
That's deep.
that's confinement.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially in the context of what we're gonna be talking about. So
Exactly.
we're gonna get into that though.
All right. So what about the etymology of trapped?
So I'm going to read the etymology from my side. The etymology of trapped is from the late Old English trep or snare, and it's a contrivance for catching unawares, but also this one's a little different, to stair step or to tread. So yeah, this one's interesting.
To tread.
Yeah.
That is a little bit different.
Yeah, this is the first very different.
But that's deep, because if somebody traps you somewhere, like essentially there's a fear.
Facts.
So that says to tread. Whenever you tread, that means you kind of like,
And
you
lightly
know,
walking on
eggshell type
And
of.
actually,
I did that one.
Actually, we got another one. That was for the word trap, but for just trap, it's also to ensnare or to catch in a trap. You know, so or to capture.
Right.
So
You usually do that by gaslighting, most definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about what is love to Google. You know.
So the definition of love, as per Google, is an intense feeling of deep affection. So that's an intense feeling of deep affection.
I like that. What about the etymology of love?
So the etymology is from the Old English lufu, which is a feeling of love, romantic, sexual attraction, affection, friendliness, or the love of God. So that's romantic, sexual attraction, affection, friendliness, or the love of God.
All right, so let's get right into it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's dive.
Yeah, let's go. So the example of this episode of what we're going to be talking about is, imagine a rat creating a trap for another rat, and they still end up going after the cheese and end up dying. So this is an example of self-sabotage, first and foremost, of us sabotaging ourselves, trying to get someone to love us for whatever reason. And this is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And also the love that we desire is toxic, because we don't know what love is. So we set in this trap, but we're not whole. We need that cheese. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So we technically we end up trapping ourselves, you know. And so let's start off with what happens when you first fall in love with somebody, right? And so it affects this part of your brain that I'm gonna call the VTA. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let Julio actually, or Candace, either one of y'all, let the people give them the correct pronunciation of that.
And it seems to be ventral tegmental area.
Okay. So in this part of your brain, the VTA, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm gonna be calling it for the show because I'm not finna mess it up. So look goofy, you feel me? So so this is the part of your brain that actually fires off when you eat sweets, or when something quenches your thirst, or when you're doing a addictive drug. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna call it the feel good dopamine. You know what I'm saying? So basically, this also puts an expectation for this feeling to happen over and over and over and over and over again. You see what I'm saying? So now I talk to different people, and that happened in my own life, and now we're going through this this dark night of the soul, not dark night of the soul, but this ego death. We're going through this ego death over and over and over again because of this certain type of feel good dopamine we're expecting from this love that is impossible to give on a 24/7 basis. You see what I'm saying? So now we have this ego death. Now it's low self-esteem, depression, all these type of things, you know, start to come. And so I'm gonna just lay the foundation, and we're gonna get busy, you know. So we start to chase them, you know, but we are blind by the feeling of by the feel good dopamine. So we understand that feeding that dopamine can become addictive. Feeding that part of us can become addictive. So when I say you chase something, we're not supposed to chase anything, right? But we're chasing love. So therefore, you're not looking at yourself. You're not taking the time to look in the mirror. We're not doing any reflecting. Even our reflection is this other person. We can't even see self because we're chasing. That's a part of the trap too. The trap doesn't mean that you're stuck in this small room. You could trap yourself in the whole world because the trap could be in your mind, meaning everywhere you go, you're trapped.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so we must understand. Oh, let me break this down real quick, and then I'm gonna stop talking and open the floor.
Don't do that. That's what we're here to do.
So peep this out.
Let it go.
So we talk about
King fired up today. King can't ready for this.
No, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Behind the scenes, bro, I was cooling, bro. I was telling Candace I'm chilling. You know, I'm not, and I'm lit. I ain't gonna lie, I am lit. But we lit. So
always.
You know, and I'm in Arizona, so maybe I'm feeling that energy too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just channeling it here in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the agenda, you feel me? And the fake stuff. This is not staged. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave it at that. But so we talk about the feel good dopamine. So I like to call it the dope of the mind.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, so if we understand, okay, this dopamine is all the things that give me this certain type of feeling that's addictive.
That pleasure feeling.
Exactly, like it's automatic, that stimulation. So if we understand, well, wow, the thing that I'm dealing with is not really giving it to me. I'm really doing it to myself.
Yeah.
It's my perspective on it. It's like that's why that's the power of semen retention and things of that sort. Because it actually helps us to have more self-control to where we're not so reactive. So whereas you may feel lonely, right? You may be dealing with some inner child stuff. You may be feeling lonely, but since you watching, I'm gonna keep it real, since you watching porn, then now a nigga done walked up on you or a female walked up on you looking good. They didn't got you, and due to this lonely feeling, you done went over there and you didn't gave your body, and you done trapped yourself in this infatuation. Now they seem like gold.
Yeah,
they seem like the solution to all your problems until what happens? They can't do it over and over
again. Yep.
That's right.
You know, so that's how we're gonna lay the foundation for this one.
And it's interesting you speaking on the dopamine, you know, because like we speaking on the dopamine is like that pleasure drop to your brain, you know, and we live like what you would call the constant pursuit of pleasure is hedonism, or to be a hedonist. So we live in what is technically a hedonist society where whether subconsciously or consciously, people are constantly chasing this feeling of pleasure, whether it's you getting a like on Instagram, as King's saying, whether it's in your romantic interaction, but we're constantly chasing this sense of pleasure, which is chemically given to us, as King is saying, through dopamine. And, you know, once you really get into what love is, you realize that love isn't just pleasure points. Love isn't just dopamine hits. Love comes with a lot of extra work and effort that falls outside of just receiving pleasure to the brain. So it's like King's saying, once we get away from just chasing that pleasure, we can really kind of get to the bottom of what love is, you know, because if we come to situations with people just expecting dopamine hits, you know, we're setting ourselves up for failure, you know, and furthermore, you can really be manipulated with those pleasure points if you're constantly seeking those dopamine hits, you know?
Sure. Yep, those are a lot of voids, you know what I mean? Whole lot of. You definitely, I've definitely been there before, having voids. That is like the worst you do when you're trying to attract somebody, you know, because like me, like I told you guys before, I attracted my father to me. You know, that was my void. So I was attracting him over and over and over again. And it was like, oh, yeah, I miss my dad. I want to be, oh, here it comes. But then I got disappointed. And then there it is. That's that trap part because you settle. You start settling. You know what I'm saying? By that time, it's too late. And those high expectations you have, oh, man, they make you just, it's over with.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we are doing self-care. You do self-love. I'm talking about loving yourself to the highest that you can, you know. And I tell people that notch I got up there is real high, and that's due to Candace, you know, self-fulfilled. Those notches should be very high to the point whoever that person may be, they should just be adding. And when they add, it's just a little bit more juice, you know. And when it deplete, we got a problem, Houston.
Right.
There's something going on.
And I'm glad you spoke on that because, and I also feel like a lot of the times, you know, people or we, you know, when we're more centered in our shadow, we show up to relationships fixated on what we're going to get from the relationship, what they're going to bring to the table, what they're going to do for our image, how we're going to look, et cetera, et cetera. But very rarely I find our people nowadays seeking relationships and going into relationships saying to themselves, okay, how can I share this happiness that I already found for myself? Or how can I add to this person with what I already had? You know, because if you show up to a relationship only fixated on what you're going to get from this person or that situation, you're setting yourself up for failure, you know?
Definitely so. That is for sure.
Because we have to be in to give love, you got to give love, you know, and to experience true love, you got to show up ready to give something, to give a part of yourself.
And let's go here, right? So you're making that self God. You're making that person God. You're a God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we talk about not you know, worshiping or not giving any power to anything outside of us. When you're doing that, you're literally giving your power away, and you're saying that they are God.
I share it. And it's I lost my train of thought, but you just brought it back and you didn't even know you did. But my what I wanted to say after that was to me, there's like a flip of the switch that comes with the type of relationships you attract. And it comes down to what Candace was just speaking on with the self-love aspect. If you're not giving yourself self-love, and if you're searching for people from a state of emptiness or trying to fill a void, as Candace said, you're gonna find people that are mirrors to your shadow. So the things that you're battling, you're gonna attract partners that trigger it for you.
Yes.
So it's like until you find the self-love piece, it's like you're either attracting people who are gonna mirror your trauma to you, which is where trauma bonding comes in, or you're attracting people through self-love who are also experiencing that self-love and are showing up with something to give and with that self-love to share. So it's like
this out. So look, so you open my mind up to this, right? Because me and my wife were both. Once again, I always got this story and I see it. So we trapped each other. We were the trap, and then also, you know, now we're the reflection of self-love to each other, you know. And so I want to understand this. I want to make sure that people understand this. Sometimes, because we like to just count people out.
Yeah,
the world make it seem like you're supposed to have this perfect type of guy or this perfect type of female, and that's not the case. You know, they can be perfect for you. That is very much so
perfect
possible. But you know, but y'all could be both trapping each other. You know, or one of you could not be open enough for love, or one of you could not be open enough, you know, for this or that. You know, so we have to understand that sometimes we have to go through the process. See, love is patient. And most of us don't have patience. I'm not saying be mistreated in business. We know when BS is BS, when somebody playing games. But I'm saying, you know, if there's effort that's being put in and y'all can communicate, you know, in peace, you know, no pun intended. You know, if y'all can communicate, then y'all should be able to, like Kenny said earlier, things is good, and if it ain't, oh, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. Now it's time to communicate.
There you go.
Now it's time to talk. Now it's time to say, okay, well, so what's good? You know what I'm saying? Like, what changed, or what, you know? And we start to evaluate. But if you're not evaluating, this is with any relationship. This is not even just like with your spouse, whatever. Like your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your best friend. If something arises or things get weird and you don't communicate, then at that moment you're leaving room for assumption and reservation.
Oh yeah.
Assumption is unlimited, and reservation is a feeling living in the past where somebody is really just waiting to explode on you when you say the right thing, when you say the end. So therefore it's a big misunderstanding waiting to happen.
Yep. I had that situation just recently happen. You know, and I kind of say with my situation, when a guy would ask me, what type of man are you looking for? I won't give you a description, and I'm not going to give you a description because I want you to be yourself. Because if I sit up here and tell you I want a good man that is, you know, all over me, or, you know, just whatever you're
going to try to be exactly that
description may be, you know, he's going to be that, and then that mask will come off if that's not organically just him and him being authentic. So I tell women, you don't even have to answer that question. You can just say, I just want you to be yourself, because now I can sit and observe the real. You know what I'm saying? To really see what you about without me telling you what I liked. I want to see, are you gonna open up the car door on your own? Are you going to, you know what I'm saying? What are you going to do based on what you have? And then I can go from there, you know, and decide whether or not is this something that we need to move forward on. But as far as to go back to the traps part, I was dealing with someone that brought a lot of things that came back from my childhood, and it came up. And when I say it came up very heavy. I noticed that when he would try to hug me or he would try to pull me towards him, I would like get real tight. You know what I'm saying? And I had to the thing about him, we had the conversation, and he actually brought that up to me. And he said, you seem as if you're a little aloof. You kind of restraining a little bit. You know, if I pull you towards me, do you kind of know what that's about? The thing I respected about him was the fact that he brought it up to me, because that's something that was bothering him. Now he's confused because what's verbally coming out of women's mouth most of the time, your actions is going to show a little bit different if you have not healed from certain things, right? So I had to sit there. I was very receptive to what he was saying to me. And then that made me go do my reflective thinking. And I said, why am I like that? Because even with my son, I used to do the same thing. My son would come, my son real lovey. He a Leo. So he real passionate. He lovey. He like to kiss on me and things like that. And even when he was little doing that, I still used to kind of be like, you know, away. And I'm like, why not do that? But I had to understand that my mom and with my dad, I had that situation where they never showed me affection and stuff. You get what I'm saying? So if I didn't have that affection being shown to me, then it showed up in my adulthood as well, where I didn't feel like no one should be touching me. You get what I'm saying? So by him expressing it to me, I was able to fix that and say, okay, that's something that I know I have to really fix. See, people like that, they can bring it up out of you. And that's what what you were saying, you and your wife, y'all trapped each other. But when you trapping each other, as long as you can communicate that and then you can fix it, it's okay. You can move forward.
And I want to speak on something real quick. That's a side tangent from something you just said with, your son being able to offer that type of experience to you, for you to be able to transmute that. And this is just like a personal theory that I have that wouldn't even come out unless we were talking about things like this. But I really think that, when children are born, they're born as an opportunity for the two parties who had hands in creating them to heal certain aspects of themselves. So it's almost like I found a lot of times, like even in our community, when two people, let's say, don't work out, but they have a child together, the child will offer moments or opportunities like the one you're talking about that lets you transmute, certain aspects of your trauma. So it's very deep that you spoke on that, because, that's how children can be very powerful in allowing us to, heal certain things that that we have within us, but that we've also kind of given to them. So that's deep that you spoke on that.
And I had to think about too, I had to go back and also have compassion for my mother and my father as well, because both of them, they didn't have that either. No one was hugging on them and showing them what they needed to show, so they couldn't do it for me. And it was just weird that I would do that with a man, you know what I'm saying, outside. And then it's like, now that I'm older, I can do it now, but that took a lot of work for me to do, and I'm like, wow, I said, it's very, very deep to do that. But that person, if they wouldn't have said anything to me, that would have enabled me. Because I feel as though that communication, and it'll cause that person to settle, especially if they really, really like you. In their mind, they'll say, I really like everything else about her. I know she's probably pulling away for whatever reason. Should I say something to her? And if that person is scared to even say something to you, and just out of fear of how you're going to react, then they end up settling, and then they trapping their own self. That's self-sabotaging themselves.
That is that's a lack of self-love. Because truthfully, like me, I'm a man, look, because like when I care too much about the relationship to let this like be my life. You know what I'm saying? So, but some people are like you said, and I was some people in certain aspects where if certain voids are being filled, then like, nah, I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want to lose this and this and that. You know what I'm saying? But truthfully, we got to be willing to go through that process, because like one thing I learned is that either you're wasting time or it's divine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's one of the two. You know what I'm saying? They come. You know what I mean? Just randomly. But
and furthermore, it's either divine or you're just delaying your time to reaching the divine.
Exactly. No facts. You're stuck in a time warp. You're just there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like when somebody go to county and they call it dead time. It doesn't serve anything.
And I've told people before, another theory I have that, until you experience a certain level of self-love and until you reach a certain level of realization about why self-love is important, and you're searching through a partner through that, it's almost like the universe or source or whatever you want to call it has like your ideal soulmate behind like a glass panel. And it's like, until you heal what you got to heal, does that panel come open and y'all magnetize towards each other. But until you do that necessary work, you're constantly, like I was saying before, attracting partners that are essentially going to serve as shadow boxing partners for you to spar out your shadows, So it's like, until you heal like certain parts of yourself, the universe isn't going to allow you to magnetize to your soulmate, and that's why that's why to me, because we live in a day and age where people get out of relationships and then they'll hop right back in another one. They won't take that time to isolate and to really figure out either what went wrong or what's within them that's causing certain problems. And I have a quote that I live by, that's what you resist persists. So like, just because you got away from that person doesn't mean you're going to get away from the problem that was coming up in that situation. If you don't take the time to figure out what was going on, you're likely to attract the same thing in just a different partner.
Because they wasn't the problem. Your perspective was The void was the lack of was. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, it's kind of funny how we do stuff that's so foolish. Like we'll get in a relationship with somebody, we'll get out that relationship, like you said, get with somebody else, not thinking like, bro, it's the same person making the selection.
Yeah. And when I talk about that, I'm speaking. I'm not trying to be high and mighty. Like I'm speaking from experience because I've been that person to do just that, which is hop from situation to situation. And I endured a lot of additional and compounded trauma because of that, you know. And it was only probably at the top of 2021 that I took time to just be, you know, to myself and to figure out who I am, you know, and
create bad karma because you hurt other people in the process as well. You know, sometimes these people, you know, that you come across may not be. They could be really rocking with you, really be something good to you, but you're not. You wasn't ready, and you should have been upfront with them. Some people can handle that honesty. Some people can handle you saying, you know what, man, I really rock with you. Like I feel like we could really be something in the future, but not right now. Some people can. Some people can't. But some people can. Some people can really, you know, some people, and you only want to deal with someone that can, because that means that they're at a different level of heal. You know what I'm saying? A person that's not going to get offended by that. It's almost like that's like a maturity test to say that to someone. You know, hey, you know, let me see the person I'm dealing with. Let me see how mature they are and how much they actually love themselves. Because if they love themselves, they're going to see, dang, they're going to almost want you more.
Yeah, they will, because they're like, I need to change for you. Like, I really need to change for you. Like, that's what I was saying about, you know, the guy that did that with me. It was like, when he told me that, I'm like, yeah. And he like, you willing to like actually fix that? I'm like, yeah, I need to fix that because you really rocking with me. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes you can be healing for so you think you're all the way there. You think you're ready. And then boom, you get into another one and something else come out.
And that's what, and I was gonna say, because I think one of you guys spoke on earlier, you know, the aspect, I think it was King, actually being patient with people, because, you know, don't get it twisted, even though, you know, we're talking about, you know, you attracting certain people, at the end of the day, and I had to learn this, you know, being a divine masculine, that you're really not going to find somebody who is 100% healed on some like Disney fairy tale type time. Like the chances of that happening are very slim. You feel me? So like something I learned as, you know, as being a man is that a lot of the times as a guy, when you choose a wife, your wife is going to be a project in some way, you know. And I feel like we live in a day and age where everything is so based on instant gratification that we're looking to find the perfect package, ready on the spot. We don't need to grow it all with the person. We don't need to go through any type of struggle. It's just fairy tale right off the bat, you know. And that's a very unrealistic expectation.
Because I don't want to lose it. And you really got me. You got me. Thank you. Peep this out, bro. Real life experience. I didn't get the wife that I desired till the 7.5 years later.
Ooh, it's a lot of work.
I say.
Put that work in, bro.
Like, so that whole 7.5 years, I was unhappy. I got certain parts, obviously, like, you know, I'm getting in certain parts come out, and you know how I go, and vice versa for her too. We didn't the people that we actually signed up for in this marriage till 7.5 years later.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying,
it takes
to
time.
confirm what you're saying in real time, like, bro. Like,
and 90%, you know, the numbers are high. 90% of the people that's married right now, they married to the wrong people. They're not even married to who they supposed to be married to, because you have, like you said, you have people that have not took the time to even do the work, period. Think about the people that ain't never went into no type of shadow work, no type of solitude or nothing. And they just in these relationships, and they just like, they have no clue about connecting on a spiritual level, connecting on a mental level, connecting to make sure this person is emotionally available. Like nobody. Think about them and how many of those people are married. I did that. That's why I was married those 3 times. I had no clue about healing and trying to sit still, you know. And that's how I ended up with that second husband. I heard him, you know. He came along, he was giving me so much love. I'm talking about he was pouring. I was scared. I was scared to death of that. And they say when you meet your soulmate, if you have not got rid of at least the basic stuff that you need to get rid of, it's gonna scare the crap out of you. Because in your mind, you like, you're doing a lot of loving and a lot of, and that's something you're not used to. So when you do have it, you don't even know what to do with it. That's why they tell you, be careful what you ask for. Because
I ain't gonna lie to you, like, I didn't even know how to accept her love. Some of the things I was doing that was ignorant and with females, all that when we was younger, 18, 19, all the 20, all this type of stuff, was because honestly, I was like, bro, it gotta be something else, bro. Like, it don't make sense. It's like how, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you feel this love that you never felt before. So so automatically you go into like, so you trying to manipulate me.
Yeah, you like, you ain't real. It's not real.
Something,
yeah.
And honestly, that's scary. Like you said, that is scary. And so that's the importance of self-love. You should be supposed to be able to love yourself on this type of level, in this type of way, to where when somebody because peep this out. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me go. I think I got something about this in my notes.
Yeah, so, it should definitely feel normal. It should feel normal to you instead of you being scared, especially if you loved on yourself enough. But it's just certain areas in your childhood that still can probably spark some of that. And you just know you got to fix it. Go and fix it. It's okay to do that. Show yourself grace, show yourself patience. And if that person has the patience and they say, okay, and tell them continue to be in you. You don't have to change who you are. It's just something that I have to deal with. That's not that person's responsibility. It's your responsibility to fix that. Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to hurt you because I need to deal with some things. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what happened. I ended up hurting my second husband because of that. I wasn't real enough to tell him, I don't even love myself. I don't even know who I am. I'm lost out here. I'm still hurting from my last relationship. You pouring all this love into me and I can't even give it back to you because I don't know how. Like, I don't know how to love you. And that was like the hardest thing. That's why when I had to apologize to him, I was in tears for sure, because I was like, I actually hurt somebody. And that's not cool, and that's not even me, so that is very, very important to just really check yourself. And that's why you have to know exactly who you are so you don't be out here hurting people. But it's happening every day, all day.
And that's really something you have to, at the end of the day, if you don't have self-love, or if somebody doesn't have self-love, you couldn't ever expect them to be able to show you love, right? And I feel like a lot of the times, when we get in these situations, we get very, I guess, like impatient with people because they're not showing us the love that we want to experience. But whole time, not only do they not have that love for self within, but they may be of those group of people who never even saw it in their lifetime. Maybe their parents never showed them love. So you're talking about people who are trying to figure out how to experience something that they have no reference for or no representation of, so that can be very difficult for people, like I said, who have never, forget self-love. You don't even really have any concept of what it means for somebody to love you. So then, like King is saying,
it comes through the music. It comes through the so with us, we like to make love to music. We like to go have romantic dates with music. We like to go walks in the park with music. We like whatever we do, we got music. And what's so deep about the music is most music promotes pain love. So it promotes a love like where it's like you did me wrong. Yeah, but you did me wrong, but I love you so much. I'll never leave you, even though I know you a sucker. Even though
it just made me think of the Pleasure Piece song, Did You Wrong? You know what I'm saying? 90s people don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But it's definitely that music. It's not really
think about the shit, even the movies, it's like they'll
but that was my next
get into it and then they'll make it makeup sex. It's like
but that was my next point. It's for people, it'll either be the music or the movies, and like we were saying before, both are going to paint an unrealistic picture and thus give you unrealistic expectations of what you should expect out of people. You know, so
now,
it's
you
like
know, a real deal. Ain't nobody going to go jump in the bedroom right after they get into an argument. Ain't nobody doing that.
And then
they show you that on TV.
Yeah.
And it's like sex is not everything when you need to solve a problem. That's the issue right there.
And if we're being real, you know, besides the music and the movies, most of the concepts of love that we have aren't rooted from an indigenous standpoint. Most of these ideas of love were given to us by, you know, what people will call colonizers or people who, you know, infiltrated our cultures. So a lot of these ideas of love don't even reflect our true nature, right? It's like we have these molds for love that we're constantly trying to fit into, but you know, and I talk about this a lot. We could talk about it on here. Because I'm a numbers guy, right? So it's like not even numbers, but in your immediate circle and in your immediate peer environment, it's like how many melanated people do you know? And you know, I got King, so I can't say this too heavily, but like it's very hard to find people who are melanated and who are like, let's say, as deeply in love in a positive way as King and his wife. You know, there's like a lot of turmoil right now in our community when it comes to the divine masculine and the divine feminine interaction, you know. And
let me say real quick, me and Julio talk throughout the week. Like, I know y'all heard me talk about it. He's not talking about like what I tell y'all on Shutterwork Sundays. Like, this is my life, bro. Like,
I get a real good look into
you know, it's like into my real life. You know,
but I gotta speak on it because what you and your goddess have is truly special in respect to what's going on, you know, in relatively to like the collective in our community, because there's a lot of men versus women, you know, games going on at all times. And you know what I thought what people kind of fail to realize in our community is, you know, that's long been a tactic since we were enslaved and even before, to pit, you know, our men versus the women at all times. Because I heard somebody put it in the way that when the divine feminine and divine masculine come together, they're like putting two batteries in a remote that you can change the channel of reality. Like the power of manifestation, that can be in the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine is scary powerful to certain people, you know. So, you know, when we talk about the destruction of the Black relationship, you know, you also got to talk about the destruction of the Black family. And they have to destroy the Black relationship so that it never makes it to the point of the Black family, you know.
How do they destroy it?
All we end up doing is just creating trauma bonds. You know, that's what end up happening. Everybody's just in a trauma bond, and it's very, very, that's very common. That's normal to them. You know, it was normal to me. You know, that was very normal to have arguments, and you know, I didn't listen. I didn't went there. I didn't did some stuff that was crazy. You know, very toxic. I was so toxic. And I'm like, is this how it's supposed to be? Now I can step outside of myself, and I look now and I'm like, that's not normal. It's not. And that trauma bonding is definitely real, because you sit up and you have these conversations with that person, and everything is relative. Everybody has that same, you know, you can speak to any of us, all of us can talk, and I guarantee you something out of our childhood relationships, they always relate to each other. It's like a repeated situation that's over and over and over again. And we definitely have to, I'm glad that we're here to be able to have these conversations, and people can get to the point they can just break these cycles. You break them on your own, and you can change it. Only you can change it. You can't change everybody else, but you just doing that one change, it'll just, like you said, you put those two batteries in there, it's going to change everything.
So let's put a highlighter on this real quick. Because we do this is things that's happening naturally, subconsciously. These are habits. So to not talk about these type of things, because that's what Black people do, just come together and relate in the struggle. You know, you would say that's my nigga because it's something happened. Y'all both went through something, man. It was struggle, You know, so how about when you meet somebody, y'all talk about y'all desires.
Yep, the new stuff.
What y'all plan to manifest. What y'all, you know, you tell them, you know, you have a motto in your head where the past is the past. Yeah. And you live in the present with that person, because at that moment, now you can build, and that's a high vibrational vibe. And then whenever something happens, so they do need you, and they need you for shadow work and all that, then now you can come at it from the aspect of shadow work, not from gossiping, or not from somebody being an energy vampire and draining all your energy, and not from, you see what I'm saying? Like, I think this is really intriguing, because I wanna talk about how they trap us, or how they disconnect us, you know, in the sense of divine masculine, divine feminine. When Julio talking about the families in the households, and we got to understand, we hate each other. You see what I'm saying? So it's we always pointing the finger, and I think that is a church mentality. It's the devil.
Yeah.
I'll take it as not to cut. I'm my bad to cut you off, but you said it's a. What did you say? It's a devil mentality. What did you just say?
Church mentality.
Church mentality.
Church
it's
mentality,
really what it really is a slave mentality and a slave breaking mentality. You know, because when we talk, because King asked a good question. He was just like, you know, well, how did they destroy the relationship, or how did they destroy the family? But as with all issues, you have to trace it back to the root, right? You have to trace it back to its origin point. And in this case, when we're talking about the intentional separation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine when it relates to melanated people, you have to go back to a guy named Willie Lynch. And Willie Lynch was a slave owner who took it upon himself to make a manual for mentally and psychologically breaking slaves. Willie Lynch was very descriptive and very detailed in this manual to psychologically break slaves. And one of these methods was to intentionally separate the black man from the black woman. And in turn, because there was such a sense of unity in the black family, there was no need for the man or the woman to feel independent, as we would call it. You know, so one of the first byproducts of separating the man from the woman was forced to be dependent on herself, right? And in turn, she would raise the children, or if she had a girl, she would raise the girl to be independent as well. And if she raised a boy, the boy would be dependent on the mother. So this was a psychological splint that was put into the family by intentionally separating us. So you know, when you see divine feminines kind of put an over importance on being independent, it comes from this mentality and making the divine feminine feel as if she has to be independent because she doesn't have the unity that is the black family anymore. And it's through this same mentality that, you know, divine masculines end up having that mentality of like, okay, well, you know, what does she bring to the table, or what is the woman bringing to the table? Because he was ripped from a position of being the provider, and instead of worrying about what a woman was bringing to the table, he was worried about how he could take care of the woman for the rest of her life. And interestingly enough, I heard a Jewish man of all people speak on this recently when he was asked, you know, what is manhood in relation to a woman? And he said that being a man is finding a woman that you're okay with taking care of her for the rest of her life, and finding a woman that's going to trust you to do so for the rest of her life. But if you notice in our community, in our collective, you don't really see males with the attitude of finding a woman that you can help in her journey to become her best self, but also make sure that she's taken care of, that she's protected, you know, in a divine way. So it's like we had our poles and our roles shifted, right? It was like a pole shift, but a role shift, where we were no longer in tune with what we were divinely put here to do in service of each other as divine feminine and divine masculine.
Let me say this, bro, because I was being very, very, you know, I was like, you know,
I seen you. I seen the gleam in your
eye. I was
very,
never doing the same thing. I'm like
very, very respectful. I was like, bro, I want to cut him off. I don't know when he gonna be.
My bad.
But no, you good. But I just you know how I feel about slavery. So, not saying it's not real. It's very fabricated though. Very Super Bowlish, So, I have, but
Yeah,
my
very
my my
super.
my my, 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 my point is that we were selling each other. They didn't have. That's what gave them the power. It was so. I would say that our problem is or has been still our ancestors
Yeah.
and our DEA, that because I would want to know what point in time did we start competing with each other. To me,
Yeah.
that was when, because that was the only reason why they had no power.
Yep.
They know we powerful. They
Yep.
psychologically used us to go against each other, and
And
then they were able to create the separation.
you always you be bringing up the good points, because this is something I'll be forgetting about this kind of idea, but you have to consider where our people come from, right? You have to understand where melanated people come from, which is the motherland,
Yep.
our Kebulana, Africa, right? We come from a place where there was no want or no need for anything. Any fruit you want,
Yep.
any
You had
animal, anything was there for you to have. There was no need for you to go compete with somebody because you would go without if they got. When certain people came into the picture and found us, they were hungry, they were desperate, there were a lot of things, and they introduced to our people the idea of having to take or having to compete, because when things aren't in an abundance, you have to compete, and we were talking about on the last episode, competing it comes about in nature when there's scarcity. You have to, quote unquote, fend for yourself. But our people come from an abundance of resources. We come from places where there was an abundance of food and abundance of water. So when we were and we're not going to, get racial or anything like that, but when certain ideas were introduced to us, we were given the idea of scarcity because we were dealing with the people who had to come and find resources just for them to survive, So it's
they was able to execute it.
Yep. So it's like, because I'm glad King spoke on that aspect of always being in competition versus always being in a space of giving and sharing.
I just think it's still too much credit, bro. I'm not trying to do this on the but I gotta be real.
Nah,
too much. We're giving too much credit to a system that had really it was able to do a little something. You know what I mean? But let's keep it real. That system that we talk about with them, that system had been used many times before they even did it. They used another system. We enslaved our own people before they ever enslaved us, and they were slaves before we ever. So it's so many facts to that. So when I think about us as neuromelanated people and like what problem back then affecting us today, I feel like it's purely us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We are God. So with that being said, we can create heaven and hell. So we decided to like operate from it. Could be ego, who we don't like. We're somewhere in our ancestors, and we know we were royal kings and queens and gods and goddess and priests, and so it could have been ego, but somewhere in there, somebody was like, "Them niggas ain't shit." You know what I'm saying? Like we the ones. And then because even like so many people tell there's different stories of how we got infiltrated. Some people will say like a pillow talking type of situation where we was giving our information up because we was, but that don't even make sense to me. That sounds stupid. That doesn't. I don't see our people being that dumb. Like why would we? So y'all saying the interracial, no disrespect nobody, but some people believe that that's not something that should be done in this time, and they saying it's a new thing. So you think that was going on way back then? No, our people wasn't even on. We were in tribes. So like it's almost like if you look at like how they got the countries broke up and cut into different spots, which it's all one thing. There's no separation. But that's like our tribes. These different states were like tribes, not states, but like, and we would move and we would do what we do. You know what I'm saying? So we infiltrated ourselves, and that's what I want to get everybody to understand about love, family.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. She didn't do it. You infiltrated yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just like our people, they met, and what's so cold is what Julio's talking about, the Willie Lynch, all these different things. This is information that some people know, some people don't know. But you know something about slavery because movies and all this. That's the part of the story they want us to focus on, family. You see what I'm saying? Because we will never be able to fix it. That's why Christians are. I got high blood pressure, still broke, still this, still that, because they're blaming the devil.
They do a lot of judging.
It's the devil. It ain't me. It's the devil.
And whole time the word devil is a play on devil or double. You know what I'm saying? The devil is just your inner adversary.
That's it.
That's your lower animalistic nature. So it's like, it is the devil. It's your double. You know what I'm saying? But it's a part of you that you fell into. To put in check.
Think about too, like the jobs as well. That plays a big part where women are allowed to do these police. Like my mom, she's a police officer. I know for a fact my mom is in her masculine energy doing that job. She stayed that way. My mom worked in narcotics and homicide. And then for me to be raised by a sole providing mother, a police officer, do y'all not think that I was in my masculine at all times growing up? Like, that's what I saw. My dad wasn't there. My mom did everything. Even being on the police force like that, dressed the way she was dressed. You know how narcotics officers dress, right? She had on all black, the boots. My mom used to be in the basement lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, that was for her to stay strong enough to be busting down doors and doing drug busts and stuff like that. And I think back now and I said, and it's still to this very day, it affects her in so many different ways of being so strong. My mom is very strong. She's very, very strong. And see, that caused me to be the same way, that independence. I went through that for a while. That's why in all of my marriages, I was so damn strong and so independent. I was trying to be in control. You know what I'm saying? I tried to control everything. I didn't even allow them to come in and try to lead or anything. I didn't know anything about that. All I knew was, watch out now. You trying to do anything that's not, I can do that. And it shouldn't be that way. And that's these women raising their daughters and these kids to be so independent. That's why you got all of these independent women out here, these rappers and all this stuff. It's ridiculous. It don't make no sense.
What's crazy is there's nothing in creation that's independent. Everything in creation is completely reliant on something else and is interconnected with something else. So like the whole idea of, even from a man's perspective, like men need women and women need men. And that's the truth. I feel like that, our collective is trying to like vehemently deny, but it's like, it's a truth that you can't get away from, is that we're here to be unified with each other. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You probably wouldn't even be sitting there talking with me. I wouldn't be doing this, bro. Like, even though like I had to, like, I was the person in my marriage that, was spiritual and conscious and having all this type of stuff years before my wife even, got into. She had her moments in where she was, but that really wasn't her thing. She really didn't go too deep into that, bro. It don't, all that, whatever. So point is, I probably still would have came across some information, been intrigued, but me becoming who I am today, as a whole, wouldn't have happened without her, bro. And that's facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I would have been distracted. So see, one thing about your soulmate, the true person, see the BS traps you.
Yeah.
But your soulmate, it's almost like when you merge your soulmate, say it's like say it's a puzzle, right? And you got the pieces for the puzzle, then you got 100 extra pieces that have nothing to do with the puzzle.
Yeah.
But you still gotta put the puzzle together. Once you find your true soulmate, all the rest of the other 100 pieces that don't mean shit, they disappear. Now all you got is the puzzle. You still gotta put the puzzle together. But now you got the real pieces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that vulnerability, like, oh man, the vulnerability is like that's the part right there. You have to be willing to be open, you know, and be able to be receptive. And when your intention to listen to them, the intention has to be for me to understand you. Most of the time, of course, we're just listening to reply to something, you know, but that intention, that is so important. If people can just get that communication part down pat, we'll be okay. And it need to be on a high level, you know, about, you have to be able to go deep down and discuss that and just really pour out. And I say a checkup. I'll say every maybe month or so, you need to be checking on each other on a mental level. Like, you okay? Is there anything that I'm doing? You know, but furthermore, that person, so also that throat chakra, it should be open. You should always talk about anything, and the way that you're saying it, all of that. You know, if that person has good intentions with you, you shouldn't have a problem with taking anything that they say to you. Because you know it means well. But when somebody, you know, when that person don't have good intentions for you, then you know you looking sideways, you know, like, nah, you know, but.
And I say a week, Candace. I wouldn't even give it a month. Because you know how much stuff can happen in a month. It could be so real because reservation. And so now that third week, they done snapped on you. And you don't even know why. You like, bro, like what? You know
where this come from?
And it depends on the alignment of the planet, how you respond. You know what I'm saying? And now this could get tricky. And so, you know, but you're right. Like, you got to check up, man. That's so powerful.
That is though.
People live with each other and just don't. You call people and check up on them, but you ain't checking up on the person that's right next to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially when it comes to like sexual things, that definitely was a problem in my past where I couldn't speak on that. You know what I mean? I couldn't actually talk. It was fear of saying I'm not satisfied. You know, and most of the time, women, they don't say anything. They're scared and they're fearful of a man thinking another thing too, a man has to be in the right mindset to receive that from his woman too, because he can feel a certain way if you say, babe, I'm really not being satisfied. You know the numbers on women that fake orgasms? They fake them because they're scared to say they're not truly satisfied. I did that. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, we got to talk about it. We need to talk about that because that's allowing you, now you're settling on your sexual desires. Who's happy? He is. And 9 times out of 10, like my last husband, he was happy. I wasn't. And I kept trying to pour in to make him happy, but I wasn't happy sexually. And I couldn't say it to him because the way his mindset was set up, he said something like, well, what you mean? What you been watching? What you been having sex with somebody else? You know, and it's like, I can't, and then that'll make a woman scared to even mention anything. So on both ends, both women and men need to be able to be in that mindset to receive that, because that's a big part of these relationships. That talk a lot of cheating. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, even with a woman, if that dude come to you and say, hey, baby, I need you to, you know what I mean? I need you to do this, do that. She should be, oh, okay, babe, show me what you want. And that's you being there, you pouring. Y'all got to pour into each other. That's a big issue too with these relationships.
But these certain things you're talking about, those are a test. Yeah. If you can't have these type of conversations, then I'm not saying that's not the one, but I'm gonna say that they're not ready for you. They're not on your level. So now you got an option. Am I going to be patient and wait for this person to grow, or am I gonna say, nah, I can't deal with it. It's a deal breaker for me totally, and my life will be a living hell. There's only 2 options in that.
And I feel like the deciding factor in that is you got to have certain standards that are, I would say, like non-movable, but at the same time, in my opinion, adjustable. As long as you find somebody that you can understand and kind of put out on the table that as long as you're willing to grow together, we good, right? So as long as I'm able to express what I see and how it's kind of not fitting into my idea of love, and it allows you to pivot, that's the determining factor of if you're wasting your time or not. Because, you know, like King's saying, that can go one of 2 ways. But if you understand from a person that, okay, you're going to listen to my concerns, you're going to listen to my observations, and you're going to, you know, if you care about me and if it's within your realm of growth, you're going to make the necessary changes. But if somebody's not willing to do that, like King's saying, that's when you gotta check the deuces on them. because you're essentially wasting your time at that point. But if you do have somebody where, you're in a space with them where they know you're healing, they're healing, and you're willing to let each other's triggers play out and let each other's traumas play out so that you can acknowledge them and transmute them, that's a different story, but if it's just a bunch of shadow boxing going on and, let's say you have something on your mind or your heart that you think could benefit this person, but they don't want to hear it and there's no communication, that's when, you got to realize a brick wall is a brick wall.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, that's when my marriage became like the realest, the funnest, and the most intense, the most scariest way. Like, we started just being brutally honest. We got to the point where honestly it was like we done. We done with it. I'm good. I don't want to do this no more.
Honestly, it's exhilarating. Like you said, it probably got exciting.
Well, you get to that point. Well, it is now, but to get to that, but we got to get through that dark moment. At first, we only was being real to each other because there was nothing else. We felt like it's almost like I don't want to leave with no regrets. Yeah. So I'm gonna just put it out on the table, and it worked. It was like, hold on, wait. Say it again, you know what I'm saying? And it's to a point where now, like, we'll just wake up and just it's like we have so many deep, super dope conversations because you gotta keep in mind that's reciprocated in duality
all day long.
So it's not always you saying some stuff that's just so deep and so bad, and so sometimes it could just be simple as, damn, baby, you know what I'm saying? Your breath stink or something. It could be something simple. And we just being real with each other, like, man, but being able to handle it and not get offended.
Yeah, that's important.
You know
that's
saying? Like, just being able to, it's almost like, to be real, your soulmate should be like your best friend. So you got the husband and the wife and the boyfriend and girlfriend. You got that aspect, the God and God's aspect. But if you don't have the best friend aspect of it, you don't have a relationship.
And with the
ticket,
you know what I mean? And speak of that, because you just activated my thought, right? It's like, why would you want to put on a false representation of yourself? Wouldn't you want to be authentically you and authentically honest and see if somebody loves that? Because what you don't want to do is put on a costume in relationships and find yourself having to put that costume on every single day, even when you don't want to. Because
that's settling.
Because that becomes a real problem. Like King said, like, in my opinion, like I said, like King really, I'm glad you have the relationships you do, because you're able to be a testament that these things do exist, right? We're not just talking about some hypothesis, that's just out there, because you really can exist in a space with your partner where you are completely honest about who you are. You could be your weird self. You could be your honest self. You could, like he said, you could wake up and be like, "Oh, your breath stink," and know that it's going to be taken, for what it is, But like, you don't want to set yourself up in life of, that's inside and outside of relationships. You don't want to constantly put on these costumes that every time you come around this person, you got to suit up with that representation that you done been upholding for so long, and you can't even be yourself. Because at that point, you're not existing in a space of love.
And
so also, those people, they operate from the outside too. You know what I mean? That's what they're operating on. You have people that, like, I done had dudes that'll come at me and think that I'm supposed to submit to them or be with them because of the amount of money that they had or the things that they had on the outside. And it's like, once you get to that point, it's like, no, we got to take money off the flow. We got to take sex off the flow, because when all of that is gone, now you got to go within and internally, and they be empty. They so empty in the inside because they so focused on the wrong stuff. And half of these men and the women right now, they're dating based off of their physical stuff that they have. I can make sure I'm gonna date him because he got this X, Y, and Z. He's gonna buy me this X, Y, and Z. But then she's not satisfied while her ass is sitting in that. Look, while her ass is sitting in her room, walking through her walk-in closet with all her Gucci, but he gone. You don't even know where he at. But that's what you was focused on when you first met him, was all of that stuff. You get what I'm saying? So you can't do that. That's
some people so poor, all they have is money.
So peep this out. This is so deep when you said that they do what they do off of status,
Yeah.
right? And so let's take it there, right? Y'all, they already got us. The ones that they got, they ain't got me, so I ain't gonna say us. They got them. You know, we're not gonna embody that.
Right.
You know, but I'm gonna say this like, so we talk about status. Like she said, everybody's dating off status. Think about a VR game, right? A VR headset, you know, and we think about the metaverse. And you like, people say, I ain't messing with the metaverse. I ain't because I'm not going into that reality, into that world. Well, family, due to you being on social media so much, you have became the VR.
Yeah.
And now you are walking around checking the status.
Yeah.
You living inside, your world has become Instagram. And now you're judging someone, you know, like when you look at somebody's page and you're like, oh, they ain't got enough numbers, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got enough. You know, you're literally.
And what they don't know, not to control, because you're speaking on what they don't know is they're being trained for something called a social credit score, which is basically they got they
like that.
and it's a thing that like
China in different places.
It's already a thing in places like China where you basically it's kind of like likes on Instagram. Like you could do something adverse in public and you could get docked in these social credit points. And there's people who know about the show Black Mirror, there's an episode where this girl has a specific phone that's based on this type of credit score, and anything they do, you know, they get an increase or they get a like to this score. But you know, she's trying to do things like go to the airport. In the beginning, her score was very high, so you know she's getting on all these flights, being able to do things very easily. And then I think she messes up somebody's name or something in a conversation, and she just continuously gets docked to the point where she can't even rent a car at the airport. So it's like that type of mentality that King's talking about with likes and that likability, that's getting to a dangerous point because other countries are already basing their money system on that and how you get compensated from your job. You know, it's a very dystopian type of future that hopefully we don't see. But robot. That's what that's prepping your mind for. Yeah.
That's dehumanizing you.
Yeah.
Just like whenever they show black people getting killed online over and over, they're trying to dehumanize you.
Yeah.
They don't want you to care about when some black person get killed, somebody. They don't want you to care about it. They want, you know what I mean? Like, but I want to get to this question, and honestly, it's been up here for a minute because I think I'm trying to understand it fully. What she's trying to ask, she said, "How do you learn to trust to lead?" How do you learn to trust to lead?
Is she meaning trust a man to lead her? Because that's a female.
Exactly. That's what. That's what I was trying to see. Because I would say, truthfully, that's not something that you do.
Right.
I feel that is something that happens naturally in time, through action and through a certain type of comfort or a certain type of stability that is presented. You see what I'm saying? She said, "Do you want to rephrase it?" Well, let us know. Are we speaking on it from the right perspective? Like, are you talking about trusting a man to lead, or are you talking about trusting yourself to lead? But if we're talking about a man, I would say that'll come in time. You have to use your discernment on that. You know, I would say you have to trust yourself to actually be able to trust a man or anyone to lead, because your discernment is actually what's going to let you know if you could trust that person or not to lead. And then also, let me make this clear too. As a husband, I don't always lead.
Yeah.
Facts.
Oh, she said a man. Yeah.
You know, I understand the areas that I'm sitting back. You got it, baby. You know, men need to calm down. You're not meant to take over every area, bro. That's not your strong suit. We all have strengths and weaknesses. So we have a system, right, where she gonna get on the phone with a company first. She gonna talk our customer service. We finna pay a bill. We got a little situation. This man at the bank, whatever. They ain't working out right. I'm the second line in the command because I'm about to snap. I need a manager I'm like a nigga in there that's talking about where my lawyer. I'm
execution time.
So we have Exactly. So we have to understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to micromanage. Don't try to like getting advice from other people and comparing your relationship structure to somebody else's. It could be the best relationship that you ever heard, ever seen in your life.
Yep. Always remember, you are the lady. You're not his mother. That's a big thing. You're not his mother.
Sure.
Yep. And when you want a man to change certain things, you have that conversation with him, but you don't keep nagging about it. The nagging part is not going to get you what you need. I used to nag. Oh man, I used to nag so much and never get anywhere with that.
Now men hate nagging.
Oh man,
niggas said men hate nagging.
I was running off something like that. Yes, and women have that really, really bad. You cannot do that. And then it's control. It's not even control. You know, it's a lot with men. Like King, we talked about the aggressiveness versus being assertive. You know, you want that man to be assertive, not aggressive. Aggressive is more in the controlling. You don't want him to control it, you know, but he just needs to be assertive, especially if you're a woman like me. To be honest, I was very, very, very masculine. So I need a very assertive man that can put me in that little soft space a little bit, you know, and it's not in a bad way, but babe, I don't need that, right? I need you to over here. You know what I'm saying? He know how to do it in a way to where I need you to right here. It's me and you know, and it's all based on the way that he talks. All of that. That's important. And most men don't know that. They try to yell. And we talked about that yelling. That's not going to get you nowhere. Just like nagging not going to get you nowhere. Yelling at a woman not going to really get you nowhere either.
At all.
I ain't going to lie to you. Like, and you got to understand, me and guys, we got to understand sometimes it's just her time, bro. She about to go. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to be, you know, all right, baby, you know, I see what time you want. You about to, you know what I mean? Like, we have to understand that. And sometimes do the same for me. It's like, okay, he having one of them days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we have to respect that, because I think sometimes we get so caught up on this high vibration, low vibration, all this type of stuff. And then you will be quick to call somebody low vibrational because of the duality in their day.
Right.
So that's once again church mentality, judgmental. You know, let's not judge each other, you know, in this process. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not going to be perfect. I'm gonna wake up sometime, I'm gonna feel like I don't want to talk. Sometimes I'm like that. Sometimes she's the same way. She wake up and she don't want to talk. She gonna talk a lot of stuff, but she's just gonna she's almost fixing to be irritated about every little thing. It's not gonna be towards me. It's just I'm gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna feel like I gotta do something. Like she needs me to, you know, but it's small things, family. I'm gonna say this again. I go walking on her. Tell me to walk outside. I was walking on, just kiss on her forehead, give her a hug. Or I heard her get into a conversation with a customer and this getting irate. You know what I mean? I walk in there and be like, "Want me to take over that call?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know,
you know,
right?
just. But she obviously I can't. Obviously, I know I can't. So it's a joke, but it's like it's so many ways to show love and to bring balance when your partner is not happy or things are not being reciprocated. That's what communicating peace is about.
Yeah,
you know,
it's all
like
to learn your star player. You better know your star player for sure. You don't
Right.
learn nothing else. Yeah,
Mhm.
pay attention to
'Cause
the
guess what?
movement.
Oh snap! And
Oh,
she went to the dimension. Like,
bro, that's crazy. I've never seen it. Didn't do that. Wow.
but yeah, man, that
She was spitting too many gems.
no, that mug definitely like. Is y'all still here, family? You know what I'm saying? I was gonna make sure everybody, y'all still here. Okay, yeah, she teleported. No, facts. Yeah, she should be right back.
That's crazy.
Actually, we're finna get into some music. She had 2 requests, 2 songs she wanted to play. Yeah, I know y'all saw that, family. That was different. You know what I mean?
Bro. It's like, all right.
Trust yourself enough to have good judgment when it comes to others. I'll say. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you for bringing that back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Yeah, like we talking about, only trusting yourself. Yeah, like you said, trust yourself. To have good judgment. Use your discernment, and also analyze why you don't trust nobody else but yourself. I'm a person that I feel like I dealt with major trust issues, and in certain areas I still do. So when it comes to that, ask yourself why don't I trust other people, and go to the origin and ask yourself who was the first person that broke my trust, and kind of go down that avenue of healing, and that'll actually open you up to a place of where you actually can find a solution, or even actually release it to the point of where you actually can, start to trust people again. Been disappointed so much, can't hurt like that anymore. So family, in full transparency, that's fear. So technically that is an example of being trapped in love. So fear is trapping your love, because if you don't have trust, and you're not projecting, and you're not being able to be in flow and operate, because the heart space is that water, that divine feminine energy. So you have to be in flow. So that's a blockage. You know what I'm saying? So once again, go to the origin and analyze that pain that you're talking about. Why? Who did it, and who created this type of energy to where it makes you feel like, I don't want to do that. Like you playing, what's that, hopscotch, or is that what the game you play? Like you playing that with the process. But now it's time to sit down in the game, sit down and analyze and see what's going on. I had trust issues really bad. So just you really got to connect with the origin family, because truthfully, having trust issues will block your blessing. If I still connect with the trust, if I still have the same trust issues that I had and didn't do the work, I wouldn't be talking to none of y'all off of this live and talking about tribe and connecting and linking up and none of that. I wouldn't be, but I have to open my even now I'm actually working on my trust even more by connecting with the tribe. People all around the world that I don't know at all, that I'm connecting with on a spiritual level. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going within. I'm like, wow, like these are people that I know from my past life, and I'm paying attention to the synchronicities, and I'm to get confirmation so I can trust the process with the tribe. You know what I mean?
And that comes from that place of vulnerability. At the end of the day, you have to go into situations hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. We have to go into situations knowing that at the end of the day, even if things get to, a crazy, I guess, a good point with that person, we got to be okay with losing it all. The only thing constant is change, and, good things don't always last forever. So it's like, if we can't have an attitude of going into every situation with no expectation whatsoever, like meaning we're not expecting this to be our final person. We're not expecting, them to fit the mold that we see. We're not expecting them to fill certain voids, and you're just going in, with zero expectations, which is pure freedom, but unless we can kind of have that mentality of being okay if things don't work out, it's like we're constantly going to cling to that fear of things having to work out. And to be honest, through that fear, you're liable to do a lot. You're liable to act out of character through that fear, and in my opinion, fears are just prayer, are pure fear and worry are prayers that you're sending up without knowing it. It's things that you're essentially attracting to yourself in the first place. Meaning, if you're afraid of being alone, let's say, and every situation that you get into from the jump, you're afraid of this person doing you wrong, or this person cheating on you or leaving you. You have this thing or this splint in the back of your mind the entire time. No matter how good things are, you're thinking, but what if they lying to me? What if they playing me this whole time? And what that does is it creates a self-predicting future where you self-sabotage more than likely, and you create that reality. So it's like we have to go into situations with an open mind.
So Julio, what creates the most of the injuries in a wreck?
You said what creates, like in car wrecks?
whiplash. And so whenever you're sitting here waiting for something bad to happen, you're all tense up. You're in this, you're all tense. You're basically making everything worse. So when it does happen, it's this whiplash effect where there's pain that shouldn't even be there. There's trauma, there's bruises, and you got to go through the healing process, no matter what. Now, that's what I'm hearing when you're talking. I'm thinking about a wreck, when that type of impact happens. It's the premeditated part. It's the 3 to 5 seconds before the car actually hits the pole that you see and know what's going on, that you tense up. And so yes, family, like just move and flow, trust yourself. It's all about self-love. Maybe you do need to be in solitude and disconnect from people to go through that process. It ain't always about just jumping out there in the water. You know what I'm saying? It may take one person at a time. Maybe have to go through the process to learn how to trust. And then the thing about trust, you never know if you trust until it's tested.
Exactly.
It's like trust is like forgiveness. You think you forgave somebody until they say something to you the wrong way. And now all that stuff coming up. Now if you don't react a certain way, if you're not so reactive and you're proactive, then you know that you're healed or that you have overcame that area. You know what I'm saying?
And in every instance of trust, there's a slight aspect of risk involved in trust. Like with vulnerability, at the end of the day, there's putting your faith into something, knowing that there's a risk of it being mishandled, right? So it's like, again, you have to go into situations willing to risk it all. It's like this quote I kind of like is, a lot of people tiptoe through life trying to make it safely to death, right? People are trying to tiptoe through life, make it through these relationships that don't cause any damage. Everything is so perfect. And it's like, that's not what your journey here is meant for. You're meant to go into situations gung-ho, ready to risk it all, because that's where the most growth is going to be had. And it's kind of a funny quote, but my mom has always said, if you throw enough shit at a wall, something's going to stick, right? So you can't let relationships harden your heart and make your heart cold, right? You can't get hurt by somebody in a relationship and then go to the next one and being like, okay, I'm going to make sure if I even get a sign of getting hurt, it's on and popping. It's like you have to go into each situation just as hopeful as the last and not expecting things to turn out like the last. But you have to have that willingness to risk it all, to be like, I may get hurt again, but I may find a love of my life.
And guess what, family? If you're not operating in that type of energy, then your manifestations are very slim, because we know that, to tap into that world of the unknown and of pure greatness, you gotta jump.
You gotta jump out the window with it.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't ever, if we're not constantly every day waking up expecting to do something we never done before, then how can we actually experience and accomplish things that we have never accomplished or never seen? You see what I'm saying?
And it's funny because piggybacking on that, I got a little mycelium note on that tidbit. We talk about the mycelium a lot on this platform, and what some people would refer to as psychedelics. A very big, I guess you could call it, pioneer back in the day of the psychedelic movement was a guy named Terence McKenna. And Terence McKenna was very famous for his observations of things like psilocybin mushrooms. Terence McKenna would use mushrooms for a healing aspect, and he would ask questions to what he called a teacher that was behind these mushrooms. So one time he said, what does the universe respect? And this mushroom or mycelium teacher told him the universe respects courage. It respects when you dive out the window expecting spikes, but you're met with a feather bed every time. The universe respects when you take that leap of faith, like King is talking about. For you to utilize windows of opportunity, you got to jump through them. There's a lot of times in life where it requires you to forget everything and like King said, just jump. And the only thing that prevents you from jumping most of the time is fear, and a fear of landing on the spikes, but like he's saying, you know, whether in a relationship or out of a relationship, you got to be willing to jump, you know, because
I had to go to my spaceship for a minute.
Yeah, but I said they try to teleport you up out of here.
My phone
was just like,
it just went out. It was not dead or nothing, yo. I don't know what happened. It just went zoop and just took me out, and it won't power back on right now.
You overloading the frequency over there. You gotta take it down a notch.
I know, right?
With perfect timing, and I don't want to wait too long because she's lit. You know what I'm saying? Much gratitude to the goddess. You know, we just had a shadow work moment when you dipped out. You know what I'm saying? And it was beautiful. And so what we finna do is get into one of your favorite records to counter that frequency, to let her know and send some healing frequency to her as well. So let's get
I need y'all to throw some. I need y'all to put some 1111s in the chat if y'all ever been trapped in love. Don't put some 1111s in there. I know everybody got that feel.
Yeah, for sure.
It's never too late. I say. Hey, it's never too late. Don't let nobody stop you from being great, you feel me? Real talk. It's never too late. You are not defined by your mistakes. Be great, it's never too late. Your soul is too strong for you to break. It's on faith, it's never too late. Peace. I had to look oppression in the face. And say, it's never too late. Know your prayers won't answer right away. It's on faith, it's never too late. What's time anyway? I had to ponder that question. Wants and needs, real versus obsessions. Growth hurt, but the concept will stretch you. Keep moving forward, every step get better. Real God talk, you can control the weather. When it rains and pours, but the sun will never stop shining, and that's a promise. You've been on my heart. Easy to compromise when you don't know who you are. You going forward, I started with a spark. They brought the light to the dark. Shine, I see it in my art. Doing my part, you more than you think you are. Stop looking at these stars and be the star you are. It's never too late. You are not defined by your mistakes. Be great, it's never too late. Your soul is too strong for you to break. It's on faith, it's never too late. I had to look oppression in the face and say, it's never too late. Know your prayers won't answer right away. It's on faith, it's never too late.
Hey, open the gates to my heart. It's never too late just to heal. You gotta choose where to start. If I were you, I would close my eyes and start in the dark. Face the shadows of your shadow where it's harder to walk. See, I swam before I ran because I came out the womb. Floating through the ethers, primordial waters of noon. In the full moon, I grab a few candles from a dark room. Releasing what don't serve me. I'm no way that's gonna bring me food. All praises to the source of creation. I ain't know we was connected, but I knew you were ancient. From a place that ain't a place, but a space that is aimless. Thought I was late to the connection, but the Wi-Fi was raising my frequency. Like we tested for a price we appraising. I had to stop staying crazy. Manifest, they just say amazing. So I'm amazed at this place inside of me that was latent. I'm not waiting, cause time we ain't chasing. It's never too late.
You are not defined by your mistakes. Be great, it's never too late. Your soul is too strong for you to break. It's on faith, it's never too late. I had to look oppression in the face and say, it's never too late. Know your prayers won't answer right away. It's on faith, it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Hey.
Oh, shit.
That is my favorite song. When I first heard that song, I told King, I said I cried like a baby. And I was crying and releasing some things because it made me realize that at 39 years old, of course, I have one son. My son will be 22 this summer. I got a big boy. And it's not too late for me to find real love. It's not too late for me to get married again, or it's not even too late for me to have another baby. I'm 39 years old. And it's like, I had something said to me by my father a long time ago when I got pregnant. I got pregnant with my son when I was 16, and what was told to me, not only my dad, but a couple of family members, you just gonna have a whole bunch of babies and just possibly be on welfare. You hear that at 16 years old, from somebody that's supposed to love you. You get what I'm saying? And when I heard that, me going through my marriages, I was scared to have another kid. You get what I'm saying? That messed up the possibility of me even having another child, because the words that were said to me, words stick when you allow them to. You get what I'm saying? At that age, you know? And even now, I had to look back and I said, that's probably why I didn't have another kid. I could have been had another kid. I was married, you know? I could have had kids. And I denied that even from a husband, because I was too busy worrying about what my family was thinking because of the things that were said to me. And now I'm older, and I said, when I find my king, I'm giving him a baby. You know what I mean? I don't care. You know, I'm healthy. You know, I'm healthy. I'm good. I'm gonna have another kid. You know how some women, they got kids in they 20s like that, and it's like, no, girl, it ain't too late. So I appreciate that song, bro. Like it just brought out a lot of things that I was able to release and just be like, and I cried hard when y'all first played that song. It was so like, he knows I was texting him like, he's like, bro, I'm over
this was different.
Yeah, it hit different, you know. Yep, never too late to change, you know, change and just become that person you want to become. It's your world. This is your world. Everybody that's in Candace universe is we in control of our own universe. This is my, you know, I be telling
so you the main character.
You got it.
Yep. Shit.
So truthfully, to follow the spirit and just keep it rocking, the work here is done. We are about to listen to Heart Chakra Overload because she had 2 requests for this episode for us records. And once we listen to this song, we out. You know, we're gonna end the episode.
No, we can't just end like that. You gotta play the singable one time too.
I was thinking it too, bro. I swear I was thinking it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I'm the one. Control this ether through this matrix just for fun. When you realize you everything, you need no one. In solitude, you find connection with everyone. Use my heart space like a gun. We just boom, bam. It is a heart chakra overlay. I've been moving slow, been moving low. In my shadow flow, been overly emotional. Sometimes I cry before. Didn't used to like the crowd, now I need it more. Hey, open up your channel with breath work, breathe in and out your nose. Been feeling superstitious when I see me breaking matrix code. But I ain't tripping, I know pressure like to make you fold. Why would I fold? Whoever told me I was ordained. Shadow work got me writing death notes like a Shinigami. Had to turn around, talk to my shadow that was right behind me. Been talking to the darkness of my soul through water, I be screaming one. Control this ether through this matrix just for fun. When you realize you everything, you need no one. In solitude, you find connection with everyone. Use my heart space like a gun. We just one. Control this ether through this matrix just for fun. When you realize you everything, you need no one. In solitude, you find connection with everyone. Use my heart space like a gun. We just boom, bam.
This a heart chakra overload. I know. This the life I chose. I'm not alone. I got the tribe. Haters be crossing the line. Don't show them no mind. I'm taking my time. Connect with divine. Feminine. It's just me, so it's no middleman. I'm for the life I can live again. I say. I can feel again. I am connected to Christ. I am the love of my life. Only for love I fight. Who knew love had a price? I had to isolate just to love myself the right way. Man, my heart was so cold. Talking ice age. Negative self-talk on the daily. Who wanna hear what I gotta say? Found out being alone was better till it turned into escape. I'm the one. Neo and I got my trinity. The power of balance you bring to me. Alignment without divinity. I'm the one. Shadow work made me a real of me. I say if you feeling me, tribe to infinity. Go. Just for fun. See the plot twist. I used to be a reactor. Anybody tell you my bro in here right now? Both of my bros in here right now. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you like I used to be snapping on people. I'll tell you in a minute what you saying is irrelevant. I'll let you talk, so that's irrelevant, and then say my point. And you know, very just didn't, you know. But truthfully, that karma kept coming back to me because doors were getting slammed in my face. You know, I was feeling like people was treating me like an asshole. Mama, I love you, I love struggle, we ain't know the meaning. Forget a puddle, I cry oceans and nobody seen it. It's pure emotion I've been holding, I miss you like I'm grieving. Cause we ain't talking, I need you. And if you thinking Jesus, now that ain't what I'm thinking. I see crisis way deeper than what people speak. We a tribe, we a family, can we kill a beef while we still breathing? This life has meaning. Feel the cries of my soul. We are not alone. Remember, we got a connection with our cell phones. Remember, generation of trauma is not set in stone. So forgiveness, cause we all have done somebody wrong. I say, I will show compassion for my mama. Be the example of what I want. I bring peace to the drama. Shadow work the best way to clear karma. And I'm clearing karma. Yeah, I'm still clearing karma. I'm out here clearing karma. Shadow work the best way to clear karma. And I'm clearing karma. Still clearing karma. I'm out here clearing karma. Shadow work the best way to clear karma.
Open the heart cause I'm 2 Chainz too. Sell bars cause I've been in tired moments and I lost juice. Watching life from projections from another screen. Need another scene. Remotely controlling my receiver on the wide spectrum, ain't no Wi-Fi scene. Looping through life on the ring. Ouroboros. Tired of people funky energy trying to seep its way up inside of my tours. Feel the vision on the stampede of the spelling you cast as a course. Really wanna be moving as a team green. Down to earth like a tourist. Big bucks running through the forest. Gotta stay aware cause I will not bear being stuck in forest. Smoky is a stare. Seem like you don't care. See it in your focus cause you ain't got focus. It's your first eye open. Feel like I've been choking. You say you just joking. Now I see how to stay conscious of my intel coming from my emotions. By putting the inner in motion, with healing the ego provoking. Under the moon of the ocean, feeling my flow reawoken. I never thought I could be broken, and I cannot be pushed over. It's Kai. I'm clearing karma.
I'm still clearing karma.
Clearing karma.
I'm out here clearing karma.
I ain't clearing karma.
Shadow work the best way to clear karma.
Re-engineering karma.
I'm clearing karma.
I'm clearing karma.
Still clearing
And
karma.
I'm feeling karma.
I'm out here clearing karma.
Clearing karma.
Shadow work the best
Way to clear karma.
It's like, bro, that's what you're giving to people. You see what I'm saying?
And what people don't understand too, like those karmic cycles and those behaviors, that negative thought process, it becomes hardwired into your body. Your body is controlling you, not you controlling your body. So when it's time to change, it's really hard for so many people to like fully change because your body is in control, not you in control. Your mind is not in control of your body. Your body is in control, so it's still creating all of those experiences because that's what it's used to doing. You know what I'm saying? Those emotions, the thought process, because deep down in your subconscious, it's embedded in there. But that's why it takes. You got to do the work every day. Energy work, shadow work every day. You can't even sleep on yourself.
Mm.
That
Yeah. And I'm clearing corner.
Yeah. Yourself. Do the work every day.
Yeah, that was a request.
In the chat, I love y'all. Nobody told y'all they love y'all today. Candace love y'all.
Shay, Julio do too.
That's for sure.
For sure. Appreciate that request in the chat, family. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the vibes, man. We real tribe over here. You know what I mean? We take time, you know what I'm saying? If a family member walked in your house right now randomly and was going through something, would you turn the TV off and talk to them? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna play the Heart Chakra Singing Bowl. Like Julio said, it's only right. And we're gonna tap out, you know what I'm saying? Or tap in. That's what we're gonna rephrase that. Ashe. So peace, love, abundance, healing, perseverance, you know, to the family. And peace to you, little sis, you know what I'm saying? Cry them tears, you know, it's amazing, you know. And so peep this out. We will be continuing this, you know. So this episode was Trapped in Love. Obviously, y'all know they're pushing this Valentine's agenda. And so we understand what that is. Therefore, but we're going to alchemize that energy. And so first and foremost, Communicating Peace will be out on all platforms on Valentine's Day. So y'all going to stream that record this Tuesday. But also next Sunday coming up, we will have our first couple on the show. Married couple. Weez is actually coming back with his wife. And so next episode will actually be about the growing pains of marriage. So if you know anyone that's married or in a relationship, or you desire, you know, a marriage and you just want to get some more insight, we're about to tap in. So this relationship, this love, this frequency of divine feminine, divine masculine coming together will continue next Sunday, family.
Sure. So I'm closing out the Aquarius season. Let y'all know on Friday, 2/17. That is my birthday, y'all. It's Aquarius. Aquarius. We're in the Aquarius season. I'm the last one.
So yeah, y'all. Also, on her solar return, we have another episode on Intergalactic Podcast Radio. So y'all tap in. We actually will have a few requests from Candace on her solar return, so we're gonna vibe with her to some of her favorite records, that high vibrational records that she want to tap in with us as well. So let's get it. My son also, you know, sending peace, love, light, and traveling graces to Kasha Key, and whoever else that was out at the retreat. You know, that was tapping in on the Inner Child retreat. So much gratitude to Nefer Soul for throwing the retreat. And also, so that's why Kai wasn't on the night, out there putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? So peace to the guy. You know, we could not end the episode without sending love to him.
That's it.
Make sure y'all treat yourself every day.
I say. The key of not getting trapped in love is self-love. Peace. There you go. Okay, artificial love is not okay with you being you.
Yeah.
Artificial love got something to say about everything that you do. When you do something that's real to you that they don't align with, artificial love finna call you out, act funny, say you acting funny, say you switching up. They're finna do everything that they can to get you to go back.
Yeah, they're gonna try to just.
You know what I'm saying? Artificial love doesn't come with elevation. It's a place of where you think you're building patience, but you only procrastinate.
Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Yeah. Today I had to disconnect from my low vibrating friends. Yeah. Hey. Spray my house with frankincense to start my day again. Hey, hey, hey. Tell me what part of receiving